Hello students. In the previous lecture, we had covered quite a few topics of theory of vectors. I hope you have gone through that because in this lecture, we are going to use all those concepts and solve a few sums. So we go through exercise 5.1 and begin with the seventh sum. As you remember, we have already done the first 6 sums which are there. So in the seventh sum, find a vector in the direction of a bar is equal to I minus 2j that has magnitude 7 units. So in this case, a bar is given as I minus 2j. Now what we do is first, we find the magnitude of a bar. So magnitude of a bar comes out as mod a. Mod a is equal to root of the coefficient of I term the whole square. That is the coefficient of, that is 1 square, which is the coefficient of I, and plus the coefficient of the j term the whole square, that is plus minus 2 the whole square. Now 1 square plus minus 2 the whole square is root of 1 plus 4, which is root 5. So mod a comes out as root 5. Now we also find a unit vector in the direction of a bar. So unit vector in the direction of a bar. Is given by this formula. This is one formula which we had completed in the first lecture itself. It is given as a cap. Any unit vector is given by a cap sign. So a cap is equal to a bar upon mod a bar. It would be better if you remember this formula. It is going to be applied many times in other sums also. Now a bar is I minus 2j and mod a bar is root 5 as we found just now. So this becomes a cap. This is a unit vector along a bar. But we do not want the unit vector along a bar. We want a vector of magnitude 7. So we find 7 a cap. This is the required vector. So 7 a cap comes out as 7 into our answer which we found just now. Now you can keep it as it is, or you can open the brackets and write it this way. So you can write it as 7 upon root 5 I bar minus 7 to the 14 upon root 5 j bar. So this becomes the answer for this particular sum that is there. The eighth question, the question is find the distance of this point, that is 4, minus 2 and 6 from each of the following. That is from first one, from the xy plane. See, it would be better if you open the textbook and keep along with the notebook also, so that you can do the sum along with me. Textbook you can open to see the sum, to see the question properly, and the sum you can do along with me as I am doing, or you can go through the video and then do the sum without looking also. Okay, that would be better, good practice for you. So in this case, first one, we want to find the distance of this particular point. Say the point is P. So distance of P from the xy plane. The distance of any point from the xy plane is given as mod z. The magnitude of the z coordinate, which is the z coordinate over here, it is 6, isn't it? So mod z, which comes out as 6 units. So 6 is the distance of point P from the xy plane. Similarly, now you want to find the distance of P from the yz plane. So I'll just write it in short over here as yz plane. Now distance of P from the yz plane is given as mod x. In this case, the x coordinate of the point is 4. So mod x is 4 actually. And the third one, distance of P from the zx plane. By now you know what is the distance, isn't it? The distance is nothing but mod y. Over here the y coordinate is given as minus 2. So the answer here is minus 2 at least. sorry, not minus 2, because it's under the mod sign and it's a distance. So distance cannot be negative. So you people don't make this mistake here. Okay. So distance of the point P from the zx plane becomes 2, because 2 minus 2 is a y coordinate. Mod y means 2. Okay. Now the next point, distance of P from the x axis. Okay, distance of P from the x axis is given as root of y square plus z square. Okay, root of y square plus z square. Now the y coordinate is minus 2 and the z coordinate is 6 in this case. So it becomes the root of minus 2 square plus 6 square. Okay, and solving that, 4 plus 36, it becomes root of 40. You can even simplify it and write it as 2 root 10, because 40 means 4 tens are. So 4 comes out of the root sign, it becomes 2. So the answer can be 2 root 10. That way it can be written actually. It's better to write that. Now similarly, distance of the point P from the y axis. Now this is something which I am leaving it to you to do as an assignment. So E, the distance from the y axis, as well as the distance of the point P from the z axis. Now by now you know what is the method, isn't it? Distance of P from the y axis, x square plus z square, the root of, and that from the z axis, root of x square plus y square. So these two can be done as an assignment by you. So quickly open your notebooks, write the 7th sum and then the 8th sum. When you come over here, do it yourself only. When you come to this particular part, then do it yourself. Moving on to the next sum. Find the coordinates of the point which is located. Listen to the question properly. Find the coordinates of the point which is located 3 units behind the YZ plane, 4 units to the right of the XZ plane, and 5 units above the YZ plane. So this is the question which is given. Now suppose the coordinates of the point are, say, x, y and z. Okay, the coordinates of the point are see the point is P. So the coordinates of the point are x, y, z. Okay. Now this point, particular point which they have given us, this point is located 3 units behind the YZ plane. Okay. Now 3 units behind the YZ plane means it lies on the negative x axis. So 3 units behind the YZ plane. The point is located 3 units behind the YZ plane. So in this case, x is equal to minus 3. So we got the x coordinate of that particular point P that is there. Okay. Then similarly, the next data which they have given is 4 units to the right of the XZ plane. Okay, 4 units to the right of the XZ plane. Right of the XZ plane means it is located on the positive y axis. So the y coordinate of this point, okay, to the right of the XZ plane, the y axis comes, the positive y axis comes. So we can write that y is equal to 4 for this particular point. And the third condition which they have given, the third data which they have given is 5 units to the 5 units above the xy plane. Now above the xy plane, the positive z axis comes. So by now you know what is the z coordinate of this point, isn't it? Okay, yes, it is z is equal to 5. Okay, therefore we can write that P has the coordinates. P is given by -3, 4 and 5. These are the coordinates of point P. Okay, there is one more part of the sum, the B part. The point is located in the YZ plane, 1 unit to the right of the XZ plane and 6 units above the XY plane. So I will give you the answer, you are going to figure it out. Okay, the answer is the X coordinate is 0, the Y coordinate is 1 and the Z coordinate is 6. So you can figure out the answer and write it properly in your notebook. So you can do it like a sort of assignment that is there. Okay. The 10th question is, find the area of the triangle with vertices 110, 101 and 011. Suppose the triangle is ABC. Then we have A is equal to. So we'll write let A is equal to. A has the coordinates 110. B has the coordinates 101. And C has the coordinates 011. So we use distance formula and find the length of the three sides of the triangle. So using distance formula, length AB, in the previous lecture we covered distance formula with respect to a point in space, 2 points in space actually. So the distance formula here comes out as length AB, which is x2 minus x1, that is 1 minus 1 the whole square, plus 1 minus 0 the whole square, plus 0 minus 1 the whole square, which comes out as root of 1 plus 1, which is root of 2. Then we also find the distance, that is length BC. So length BC turns out to be this way, that is root of 1 minus 0 the whole square plus 0 minus 1 the whole square plus 1 minus 1 the whole square. Which also comes out as 1 plus 1, root of 1 plus 1, which is root 2. Then similarly AC, that is length AC. So length AC, again the same thing we do, that is 0 minus 1 square plus 1 minus 1 square plus 1 minus 0 square. I am continued here, so that space is not there. So this becomes root of 1 plus 1, which is root 2. So from this you have concluded, no? You have come to a particular conclusion before me telling you. That is, we have seen that the length of AB, AC and BC are equal. So therefore, triangle ABC is an equilateral triangle. And therefore, the area of an equilateral triangle, you already know the formula. Therefore, the area of triangle ABC. Same formula which we have studied in the lower classes, which is root 3 upon 4 into side square. Now the side is root 2. So we get root 3 upon 4 into root 2 square, which turns out as root 3 upon 4 into 2, and thus we get root 3 upon 2 square units. Like I tell you, each time when you write the area, don't forget to write the units. In this case, it is √3/2 square units because it carries marks. So thus we get the answer for this particular sum. Now in the 11th sum, if AB is equal to 2I minus 4J plus 7K, okay, AB is a vector and it is given by this particular term in terms of IJK. The initial point A has the coordinates 1, 5, 0. Find the terminal point B. We have to find the coordinates of B. So, suppose A bar and B bar are the position vectors of A and B. So, we write it this way. Let A bar and B bar be the position vectors. Some short forms are allowed in maths. So, position vectors can be written as PV, position vectors of A and B. So, therefore, we have now the point A is given as 1, 5, 0. And therefore, we can write A bar is equal to, in terms of IJK, A bar becomes I cap plus phi j cap. K term is 0. So, this becomes A bar. Also, AB vector is given to us in the question itself, isn't it? So, AB is given as 2I minus 4J plus 7K. Okay, now in the previous lecture we saw that in a vector, how to find the position vector of a vector formed by 2 points actually. So, vector AB is formed by 2 points A and B. So, AB becomes, the position vector of AB bar can be written as B bar minus A bar. Okay, this becomes the position vector of A bar, AB bar. Now, what about B bar then? So, in this case, we already know what is the value of AB vector and we also know what is A bar. So, therefore, we find B bar this way. B bar is equal to AB plus A bar, which is 2I minus 4J plus 7K plus A bar we had got it as I plus phi j. So, I plus phi j, this way, and simplifying this, okay, we get 2I plus I, that is 3I, minus 4J plus phi j, that is plus J, and plus 7K. So, this becomes vector B bar. From vector B bar, we can find the coordinates of B. So, therefore, the coordinates of B are the coefficients of I, J and K over here. The coefficient of the I term here is 3, the coefficient of J is 1 and that of K is 7. So, this becomes the answer that they want us to find. Okay, I hope you are understanding these sums. The next, the 12th question, I would say that it is very important. They can easily give it for at least 3 marks actually. Okay, so the question is, show that the following points are collinear. They have given us 3 points here. In the first question, they have given us 3 points, A, B and C. We have to show that these 3 points are collinear. Suppose A bar, B bar and C bar are the position vectors of these 3 points respectively. Then we can write them this way. Okay, so we say let A, B, C, A bar, B bar and C bar be the position vectors. Okay, having written that, we have A bar is equal to, from the point A, we get A bar as 3I plus 2J minus 4K. Similarly, B bar is equal to, From point B, we get B bar as 9i plus 8j minus 10k. And also vector C. C bar is equal to minus 2i minus 3j plus k. So, having found out the position vectors, now we find out AB. Okay, vector AB. Vector AB becomes just like the previous sum, B bar minus A bar, which is the vector B, which is 9i plus 8j minus 10k minus vector A, that is 3i plus 2j minus 4k. Now what we do here is we open the bracket. Remember, after opening the bracket, because of the minus sign, all the signs are going to change. Remember this. Don't think that I'm telling you as if you're a small child. Often we make such mistakes in the exam. Okay, so do remember that. So AB comes out as 9i plus 8j minus 10k, and opening the bracket, we get minus 3i minus 2j plus 4k. So this comes out as AB. Simplifying that, we have 9i minus 3i, that is 6i, 8j minus 2j, that is 6j, and minus 10k plus 4k, and that becomes minus 6k. So this we keep in mind, or suppose this is the first statement for us. Then we also find out what is BC. Okay, we find vector BC. Now you know how to find vector BC. It is C minus B. Isn't it? C minus B, which is minus 2i minus 3j plus k minus the vector B, that is 9i plus 8j minus 10k. The same procedure, we open the bracket, change the sign. And we simplify further. So our BC comes out as this way. Okay, it comes out as minus 2i minus 9i, that is minus 11i. Similarly, minus 3j minus 8j minus 11j, and k plus 10k, 11k. So it comes out this way. We take 11 common. Just observe what is done over here. We take minus 11 common over here. So minus 11. So in the bracket, we get I plus j minus k. Now here, suppose we multiply all the three terms in the bracket by 6. Then what do we have to do? Yes, we have to divide also by 6. So minus 11 upon 6 into 6i plus j minus k. Now 6i plus 6j minus 6k it is. This way. Now 6i plus 6j minus 6k was actually AB bar which we had got earlier. So therefore we can write that BC is equal to minus 11 upon 6 AB. Now in the previous lecture we had learnt that if vectors are expressed this way, then either they are parallel to each other, or if they have a point common between them, then they are collinear. Isn't it? So BC is equal to some scalar into AB. Okay, minus 11 upon 6 is a real number, it's a scalar. So BC is equal to some scalar into AB. Therefore, we can say, originally we can say that BC is parallel to AB. Therefore, BC is parallel to AB. But they have point B in common, no? But B is a common point. So more than being parallel, what are they? They are collinear. Okay. Since they have a common point between them, we can say that therefore BC and AB are collinear. They lie on the same line, and thus we can say that ABC are collinear. Therefore, the points A, B, C are collinear. Okay, once you understand the sum, you will know that it is very easy. Nothing to it at all actually. Okay. So we go to the next sum. Yeah, the next sum similar to the previous sum. The first sum, you can try it out as an assignment. The 13th question. If the vectors 2i minus qj plus 3k and 4i minus 5j plus 6k are collinear, find the value of q. So we can solve it in this way. Suppose we write the vectors one below the other. So 2i minus qj plus 3k and the other vector, that is 4i minus 5j plus 6k. They have given that they are collinear. Now, there are several ways of solving this sum. One of the easiest ways is to remember that suppose vectors are collinear, then the coefficients of I, j and k are proportional. So therefore, the coefficients of I, j and k are proportional. Proportional means they form the same ratio. So therefore, we can write this way, that is, see, from these two vectors 2 upon 4, the ratio 2 upon 4 is equal to the ratio of minus q upon minus 5, which is equal to 3 upon 6. So we write this way, 2 upon 4, which is equal to minus q upon minus 5, which is equal to 3 upon 6. So thus we get q upon 5 is equal to 1 upon 2. So we write this way, therefore q upon 5 is equal to 1 upon 2, and therefore q turns out to be 5 upon 2. So this comes out to be the answer for q. The next sum, the 14th sum. Here they have given us 4 points A, B, C and D, and they have told us to find out whether these 4 points are coplanar, that is whether they lie in the same plane or what, and also to justify. So let us see how to do this. Now from A, B, C and D, we can form the position vectors A bar, B bar, C bar and D bar. That much I am leaving it to you to write in the notebook. Write that the position vectors of A, B, C and D are A bar, B bar, C bar and D bar, and write their values. Here I am starting with finding AB. Okay, so vector AB comes out to be B bar minus A bar, which is from here it becomes minus I plus J plus K minus the vector for A bar, which is I minus J plus K. Okay, opening the bracket and solving it further. Okay, we change the sign over here. So it becomes minus I plus j and minus k. Now k terms go away. So we get minus 2i plus 2j. So this turns out to be AB, the vector AB. Similarly, we also find the vector AC. Okay, so AC becomes C minus A, which is vector C I plus j plus k minus the vector A I minus j plus k. Upon solving it, it comes out as 2j because I minus I becomes 0, j plus j 2j and k minus k also becomes 0. So we have AC is equal to 2j and similarly also AD. Vector AD becomes D minus A. And we solve it in the same way. Which comes out as 2i minus I, which is I, minus 3j and minus plus j. That is minus 3 plus 1 minus 2j and also 4k minus k, that is plus 3k. So this comes out as AD. Now why have we found this? We have found this to prove that ABCD are coplanar or non-coplanar, to find out that. So suppose ABCD are coplanar. Then we can express them in this way. Then we have AB, say AB can be expressed as XAC, X into AC plus Y into AD. See, in last lecture, in the previous lectures theory, we have learned that coplanar vectors can be expressed as linear combinations, isn't it? Where X and Y are scalars. Now suppose X and Y exist, then ABCD are coplanar. If they do not exist, then they are non-coplanar. So let us see whether X and Y exist or what. So first of all, we write AB in terms of XAC plus YAD. So AB comes out as AB we have found it out as minus 2I plus 2j, which is equal to X into AC was just 2j plus Y into AD term, that is I minus 2j plus 3k. Okay, as you write in your notebook, you will understand the steps also. Now listen carefully, what do we do over here? Okay, what we do here is, we take the terms containing I together, the terms containing j together and the terms containing k together in the RHS. LHS of course remains as it is. So LHS is as it is, minus 2I plus 2j, this is the LHS, is equal to, on the RHS, the I containing terms are taken together. Only one term contains I over here. If you open the bracket, it is actually yi, this term. Okay, so we write yi, which terms contain j. This particular term contains j and also this term contains j. So it turns out to be this way, plus 2x minus 2y, which both of which contain j term. This is the way it is written, and only one term contains k. So we write 3y into k. It is multiplied with y, no? So 3y into k. This way. Now we equate both the sides. So that concept is written as by the equality of vectors. Okay, so we equate both the sides, LHS and RHS. On the LHS, whichever I terms are there written this way. So therefore, see, yi, that is y is equal to minus 2. Okay, this term y becomes minus 2 because both the terms on the LHS and RHS contain I. So y becomes minus 2. Similarly, j term 2x minus 2y is equal to 2. The second term you can observe. And the third term, there is no third term on the LHS, whereas on the RHS we do have a third term. So we can say therefore 3y is equal to 0. And from 3y is equal to 0, we have y is equal to 0. But then just analyze the situation. Is this possible that y is equal to minus 2 here and also y is equal to 0? Is this possible that at a time the same coordinate will have two values? No, this is not possible. That means there is no y and therefore there is no x as well. So we cannot express AB as x AC plus y AD. So we write this is not possible. And therefore ABCD are non-coplanar. Therefore the points A, B, C, D are non-coplanar. So study the sum properly. It seems a bit long, but it comes for 4 marks if it comes in the exam. In the 15th question, express minus I minus 3j plus 4k as the linear combination of 2i plus j minus 4k, 2i minus j plus 3k and 3i plus j minus 2k. Now here, suppose r is a required vector. So we write r bar as minus I minus 3j plus 4k and we take A, B and C as the given vectors. So a linear combination means we have to express R as XA plus YB plus ZC, in which we have to find out the values of X, Y and Z. So after writing R is equal to XA plus YB plus ZC, what we do is that we substitute the values for R, A, B and C in the equation. So thus we get the terms this way. Now what we do is that we take the I containing terms common. So the I containing terms are 2x, 2y and 3z. Similarly, we also take the j containing terms which become x minus y plus z, and similarly we take the k containing terms and also group them together. Thus we get the equation in this form now. So as you can see, I has been taken common, j and k also have been taken common. All those terms containing I, j, k have been grouped together. Thus, by the equality of vectors, we equate the LHS and the RHS. The I terms, j terms and the k terms on the LHS and the RHS are equated together, and thus we get this particular equation here now. So by the equality of vectors, we get three equations actually. We get 2x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to minus 1. Similarly, x minus y plus z is equal to minus 3 and 4x plus 3y minus 2z is equal to 4. Now how to solve these equations? We have to solve the equations somehow and find the value for x, y and z. The best method is to use Cramer's rule. Last year you had done Cramer's rule involving for equations involving three variables. And therefore we use the same Cramer's rule, and so we find d, dx, dy and dz over here. So thus we find d, the value of d comes out this way. as you can see. Okay, I hope you remember the method for that. Then the value for dx comes out this way. So d comes out as minus 9, dx comes out as minus 18, and similarly upon solving, dy comes out as again minus 18 and dz comes out as 27 over here. So dz is 27. So you can see how it is done if you don't remember the method already. And then what do? Yes, we calculate x, y and z from here. So x is dx upon d, that is minus 18 upon minus 9, which is 2. Y also is 2 in the same way and z becomes minus 3. Thus we can write now r bar in terms of a, b and c as xa plus yb plus zc, that is 2a plus 2b and minus 3c. So this is the linear combination of vectors. So in this way, we have completed all the sums of exercise 5.1. In the next lecture, we will either go on to the next concept or we will cover similar sums from the miscellaneous exercise. Okay, that will be for the next lecture. So till then, keep practicing, write all these sums in the notebook, stay healthy and safe, and do subscribe and like the channel. So see you in the next lecture now.